Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Desert Fox coming at you again with another gameplay of War Game Red Dragon Ash and Shadows mod. I absolutely love this game. This game is freaking phenomenal. What we have for you today is we are going to be playing pack on pack, and another one of my no I guess it's just free for all, like free build for the red pack forces. It's the private army. I'm gonna go through it real quick. It won't be a deck build. It'll just be a walkthrough of the deck and then a quick playthrough. Yep. Oh, and I have my lucky friend here, the Imperial Walker. He's got a sound that just irks me to extinction. I love this thing. It's amazing. Yeah, it fires. It's beautiful. For all my Star Wars fans, that sits right next to my table, and it gets me going. So whenever we do something good in the game, I will probably utilize that sound and as a victory chant because it's awesome and menacing. ATST all day. All right, so we have for this private army deck build, there is a command vehicle here. We also have an aerial command vehicle for mobility. Enough said there. There's other options, but for the price, I'll take it. This one is like, 125. It's a chopper. This one is 100. It's a chopper. So you kind of go with the cheapest option. We have some supply trucks, about 12 of them. They're really for gas. They're about the size of a Hemet. And we have this large MI 26. Traditionally, these things are used for carrying nukes, so that's why they're so large. But in a game, it basically can have a free ton of supply, 6,000 liters. Really good for the armored columns that the pack is going to take, so I kind of take them. In the menacing force. As our infantry, we have a lot of, it's pretty standard BMP3 with some standard shock troops, short range rockets, but they get those bad boys off quick, 15 rounds per minute. Very nice. We got some Grom, some of my favorite units because they have anti-air as well as RPGs. Kind of gets the job done, and they are elite troops, so their gun isn't to be messed with. Really kind of gets in there, mixes it up in the building. You can take them wheeled, or you can take them in the chopper. The chopper variant, I think, is a total of 69 points. Great number for all you dirty boys out there, because we are dirty boys and we like dirty toys. And then you've got the ATGM unit. It basically has 16. I think that's freaking amazing. Overkill is the name of the game. They are slow walking, so we have these BLZ 08s, which have a 30mm autocannon, as well as mediocre missile. So, I mean, it's there. It gets the job done, right? For our support, of course, we have to take the Mighty Tunguska. They are 100, so you have to be careful and micro them. For fast moving on roads, we have the Crotal. It has 150 kilometers on road and 80 kilometers off road. So as you probably can guess, the Tunguskas are going to accompany the tanks with their great range and their tracked mobility. And these guys, if you have a fast moving component, will accompany them. Or if, let's say, a Tunguska gets knocked out, they'll call in some Cortals to quickly get to that position so there's no gap in air coverage. We also have these guys. They do and can support against choppers slightly, but really it's for the aircraft. 9,800 meter range, 95% accuracy. It's going to do a really good job of keeping those airplanes at bay with 16 missiles. So freaking flipping awesome. It's a one-stop shop. The only thing is the enemy can't see it. So if they've got seed, it might be able to duke out with it. But you have to kind of be mindful of that. You might lose one. The Mighty Smirch, we got 2 of them. Heck yeah. MLRS all day. Tank force, I'm a huge proponent of you take a few heavy tanks maybe, and then a whole bunch of light tanks with good range, good accuracy to kind of support them. The heavy tanks with their 23 frontal armor can take the brunt of the enemy attack, right? Hopefully they're facing their armor, and the lighter tanks can provide long range fire on the enemy. So this 1-2 combo is really good, kind of like Abrams and Bradley. To kind of further that, I'm going to skip to the vehicles. These guys basically are like your fire support with the Bradley. If you know Bradley's, I think fire at 2730. And then some Japanese units fire at 2,800 meters land. This thing basically is a light Bradley to support, but it has a shell, right? 65 accuracy, 23 AP power. Absolute beast if they're supported. Remember, the optics are bad, so anything else that can spot for it is good. Some honorable mentions, though. This guy, Fire and Forget 2800. It's got 12 minutes, 12 missiles. Very good honorable mention. But I just like this unit because the micro and the positioning. There's a lot of units that can actually match missile range 2,800 meters, like for tanks. So yeah, that's something to be mindful. So when it comes to putting rounds on the enemy at range, this guy just kind of does. PTZ 89 is the beast. Good for trading too. Like this is 35 points. This is 50 points, and I can bring a lot more of these, and they can do the job almost as good as that. So there it is. Oh, and to add on to that, Tunguska can't shoot at the missile. Helos. I went with, typically I like to do cavalry, but it was a toss up between the Apache and the Mi-28, the Heinz, right? This absolute beast of a chopper. 16 missiles, gnarly. They come out fast too. They're not really slow missiles. They really like zoom in there. But you got 16 of them. You got rockets and the Apache. Why did I pick this? The price, $29.70 for the Hind on the range, and then for the Apache, $31.50. So you get more range at a cheaper price, and you got the same amount of missiles. You know, I'll cost balance analysis that. You take it how you want it, but it is what it is. So for really getting in and dicing it up with the enemy's other choppers, because I do believe in that, this guy's going to be better. Chopper, probably one of the best dogfighters in the game. 70 stabilizer and accuracy stationary at great range. And he's got 8 of them. Really good stuff when it comes to suppressing the enemy and nailing enemy choppers. He is 100 though, but he's a recon unit. So first sight, first shot capability is going to be really nice. And you get 2 cards of him. I only took 1. Because I do want to take, let's say, some land recon and some fast-moving recon in case, you know, you want to get out the wind with a Crottel or just see what's out there. This guy. So it's pretty much the deck. The Air Force, I don't really use the Air Force really in a traditional sense. I might have some suppressed seed and use the Su-25s to really get at armored columns. This thing is a massive beast with 16 fire and forget missiles and then 2 other infrared missiles for helicopters or aircraft. Really not going to be too useful or effective, I should say. But the autocannon against ground units and the missiles to stand off at 3990 meters is going to be great. The Su-57 for air superiority. You've got some bombers here that come in after the Su-24 has done its job and just cluster bomb the mess out of the enemy. It does have HE power, and there's just basically a bigger HE bomb and a smaller HE bomb, but more of them. So really nice. And then you have these guys, which just more HE power for infantry and napalm. It comes in slower, and it really nails the infantry. So there you guys have it. There's that deck. Private Armory. It's built. If you want that deck, maybe I can like link it to you if you have the ash&shadows mod. We're gonna play. It's basically be a tank on tank engagement because I'm playing against a computer. I don't have anyone to play with. So when we get more people to play with, maybe we join a Discord or something like that and start linking up with some guys. But I just want to put the content out there. So let's dive right in. Outstanding. So here's the map. It is kind of close in here. We've got this ridge right here. Along with this road, we want to kind of dominate this road. The enemy might, if he's smart, have units here that could ATGM us this way. So we kind of want to control the narrative on that side, as well as the narrative here. Kind of pincer the enemy into kind of staying in the center. Infantry is going to be key here, holding the middle if we're going to do a pincer maneuver, because we want 2 tank columns. And we're also going to have a smirch. With this close-in map, we might put it back here. But you got to think, right, if we're going to have a chopper the ability for our choppers to reload at the fob. They need a place to land, and that ridge is probably going to do us the best good. We'll put our command vehicle over here. Maybe he won't guess where it's at, right? All right, so we're going to take our 2 heavy vehicles over here. 2 heavy vehicles over here. It's pretty standard. It's going to be a pretty standard action, and you're going to see how that works. It's just going to be basically an armored assault, which is what you would expect from the red. Is hey man, they've got armor, they've got a crap ton of it, and how to use it. But we're gonna use it kind of similar to the way that the Americans use their armor. Is Abrams in front supported by supporting units. It's not just gonna be tank rushes. We'll take 2 3-ton Guskas to kind of support. Put 2 on the road there, right? And then we'll have these nice recon. So those are our 2 armor components. One's going to swing out here left, one's going to swing out here right. We will take infantry in the Grom in the middle just to kind of stand off with the enemy. Oh, we can only take 1. Wow. Is that cheaper? Yep, we can take 2 of these guys. Okay, so we'll just take 2 of them to kind of hold the middle in case infantry starts coming in the buildings, just to kind of deny it or fight for it or kind of tripwire the enemy. That's our armor column. It is going to be a pretty stand-up fight. We're going to merch the enemy once we see them, and then have our tanks roll in. So let's get this bad boy rolling. Get our tanks moving this way and then this way. Yeah, we want to pincer the enemy with our 2 armored columns. We will what's it called? Quick select our smirch, so we'll put them in 1 smirch in group 1, 1 group in smirch 2, so that I don't have to go back here and select the smirch. They're already like 1 and 2 can be selected from anywhere. 1 and 2, right? We don't see the enemy quite yet with our recon, but we will start pre-selecting our units to dominate the space here. So we're gonna have some wing out, start setting kind of a battle formation on the road there early, and then just slow move because we do see the enemy tanks, but there's only 3 of them. I think that should be enough for this armored column. Here's some chopper showing up here. We will keep their missiles active. Kind of Y out here. Let's see if our tanks can get the job done. We'll keep one of the group's missiles active. Give them fighting orders to maneuver. And as you can see, it's still a tanks lead formation. We're telling our tanks to advance on the enemy. Supported pretty well by our... So there's the enemy, some other enemy units. So he's bombed us. What we're gonna do is the initial range. So we are way too close. We have to actually back the Smirch up. Maybe he can get him. Yeah, he can get him. Cool. The standoff range with these T-55s is going to be really nice, being able to pop them at range. So cool. And we're going to continue to advance with our units supported out here in the wings. Heavy tanks in the front. Actually, you're going to turn you on, turn you off. And have our Tunguska accompany them. We want to be able to kind of keep this formation pretty nice and tight, because the map is small and we've only killed 1,047 of the enemy. There is his Baratino. Right, we're not sure if there's any infantry in here, so we're gonna avoid. We're gonna go around that. These buildings, this forest, makes a very good natural defense for the enemy for ADGM units. So us being on the wings is actually very advantageous for us. We already have advanced to center, so we're probably gonna see a lot of enemy resistance moving forward. So let's get our recon out here to see what we can actually see. Put some T-80Us there. We're gonna flank them, suck them in. some infantry there. But as our fire support, and they kind of walk into this wall of fire, they're going to get flanked as we kind of suck them into our PTZ-89s with their massive firepower guns at range. So Tunguskas can stop. There's their tank force. We will send a second Smirch and start bombarding this road for anything that comes down it. There's some more tank units. We'll suck them in as well and maneuver on them with our forces this way. Keep the Tunguska there. Hopefully he stays hidden. So it's just a massive tank force. But if you notice, we are on the enemy's. He's coming down this road, and we're attacking his left and right flank. So the T-55s are able to pop these way more expensive, tanks that the enemy has. So we've made some good headway. 2,000 points. Remember, our Smirch is still inbound, so we don't need to kind of roll into that. We're going to continue to support our units by moving them forward. We need these units to kind of go into the gap. But again, we're on the defensive flank here. So we've already broached their defensive line, so to speak, with the buildings, this forest. Makes it really good defensive line. And on this side, on Elena, this natural ridge makes a really good defensive line for reverse slope defense. There's a lot of armored vehicles here by the enemy. So they are, you gotta like it. We're gonna have our guys advance past here and support. We'll have the PTZ-89s and these guys attacking the wings. It's a lot of light vehicles at this point, so we're gonna back off the mark because they're gonna shoot at the light armored vehicles. But when the heavy tanks come in, they're gonna be selected to attack our units and maybe get some pot shots. We want to keep that range advantage that we have. And if you notice, the formation hasn't really changed. Tanks lead, supporting units right behind them, and then Tunguska right behind them. That's pretty good. We're not sure if they have any infantry here, so we'll bring up some infantry. I'm not sure if the Smirch is attacking us. It looks like our Smirch is coming in really late here, so we might take some damage on our tanks on that. So we'll just have him retire, fall back, and we'll give him a refurb with the chopper. He's basically, we bomb them. They're panic shaken. Their ability to maintain good fighting spirit has been challenged. Good thing we took these tanks out on the wings, because it means that, hey, he can't maneuver on this road as much. So we'll Y out here a little bit, see what we can get. But now we're all the way in center, and the enemy's force at Boris is going to be cut off. Now it's just a matter of hunting his command vehicle, something good for the recon. That might be it right there. We'll see. Kind of fly over our line there to see what the enemy has. Now, the reason why I've kind of stopped here is we don't know what's in these buildings. It's going to be a really good job for our seed and our infantry. So since we have some infantry, and I don't think it's threatened over here. Also, the enemy, if he was smart, he could put some choppers over here and wait for our advance and then come in behind us or try to flank us. That's something also he could have done. That's really good. But right now we're just taking pot shots at the enemy at will, and pretty soon he'll be spawn trapped. The only way he could get out of something like this is maybe artillery in the back and ATGM units to really kind of pop our guys and staunchly defend these buildings. But without air cover, it'd be almost nigh impossible, because all we do is just we come in and we just bomb them. So we're going to send some seed out there to see if our aircraft would have free reign, so to speak. Alright, because we see a buck automatically. We're going to see if we can pop that buck. There might be a couple Tunguskas or something like that in there. There's our seed, popping the buck. Very nice. He almost did get a shot off, which is very weird. I feel like we're being set up by the computer. I think there might be a hidden force somewhere. Here's our infantry. They're going to clear these buildings. These guys are good to go. We're going to roll them up on the wing and take this corner here and move into the forest. We will try to bomb this area with our cheap bombers that are not so cheap, 130 and 155. Notice we didn't call any command vehicles to take Anna, Dimitri, and Fedor. But if we wanted to call one in to take Boris, that could be advantageous to us. Actually, we will do that. By the time our infantry get up there and they push, it should be fine. Notice I say it should be. We'll be a little aggressive. But yeah, keeping your tanks in good formation kind of gives the enemy no room for weakness. Choppers doesn't matter, tanks doesn't matter. You can receive them. It doesn't. You might not be able to throw the enemy back. Like their forces might be better than your forces. That's fine, but you stand a way better chance of receiving the enemy's assault by having your tanks in a formation that puts the meteor forces up front, and your weaker but effective long-range units in the back. So as we close the noose on them, our infantry starting to come in. He does have a command vehicle at Anna. Very interesting. Very interesting. So the computer does have a brain. Look at that. What we'll do is we will send a couple recon units this way because we can actually get outmaneuvered at this point. We do want to take. There's one of the enemy's command vehicles, so he's gonna have to move it or surrender, which he surrenders. 10-minute video, outstanding. 46-19 to destruction to the enemy. We didn't take any losses. It was just a very good armored column setup. We received the enemy, engaged him in a good formation. He kind of stayed on the road, so it was kind of hard for him to, I'd say, formulate a good battle plan against us. But I would say, like, hey, when you're playing against a real player, it'll be a lot different. But you guys get the point. Keeping the formation is pretty good. Let's go through some honorable mentions here. The lead tanks, obviously, the M95 still seems absolutely manhandled the enemy. Those are the lead tanks, putting in work, knocking out Baratinos, T-80s, Strelas, you name it. If it was in its way, knocked it out. Tunguska, a whole bunch of tanks. PTZ-89s, again, right, range and armor penetrating ability. These tanks, same thing, just leading the charge. T-55s are pretty good, cheap tanks. They got missiles, and they got speed, and they got a nice gun. And they're 74 points. So it's a good mid-point tank. You know, it's not 150, but it does pose a real problem for an enemy that's not ready to receive it. T-55's good stuff. Tunguska's doing this job, shooting down all the planes. We didn't even have one of those, like, long-range Patriots or, you know, Mega Strelas, right? We didn't have any of those. So, good job to the Tunguska, shooting down, like, literally everything. But they can survive because the tanks are taking the brunt of all the attacks. More PTZ-89s, PTZ-89s, very nice. Good tanks. So, basically, tanks, armored, and Tunguska are the highlights, right? And then the Su-24 hitting the buck. Heck yeah. So, yep, this is your boy Desert Fox. If you guys like what you see and you guys want more and more content, hey, please don't be shy. Hit the likes and subscribe button. If you guys want to leave a comment or something you want to see, or you want me to do a certain challenge, that's pretty good. I might next video do a challenge where I don't keep a fob, I don't keep my command vehicle. I will try to assault the enemy's base without a command. I basically switch spawns with the enemy by taking his spawn and letting him run around and take my spawn. Might be a good challenge for you guys to kind of mix it up. But this is your boy Desert Fox, letting you guys know. Have a good day, have a good weekend, and get in the Vanguard. Have a good day and goodbye.